First of all, allow me to thank President Muhamed Lodi for inviting me to come and address you. And the topic that I was going to speak on is diversity within religions to promote integration and social cohesion. The topic has come to me because of the fact that the President told me that your organization has got all members from all faiths, Muslims, Christians, Jews, everything, Hindu, Sikh, everything. So I have chosen this title because it is really the title that covers the situation in Britain, in the world, in fact. And I will speak first, the first part of my presentation is the topic that relates to your organization. Yeah. So the name of the organization is Basira. 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 Yeah. And Basira is from Basar, the vision. Basira is not seeing. And these are the attributes, or as we call them in Arabic, the beautiful names of God. And he named himself 99 names on top of Allah. And one of them is Basira. And he can see. It's not like us with an eye, with a retina and a cornea that he can see, but he can also understand. Because the problem is not just to see. To see is not enough. You've got to see and understand what you're looking at. And that's the basira. So I have the honor, I don't know if any of you know Arabic, but I have the honor to be a descendant of Prophet Muhammad. And this is a pleasure, and makes me feel that I've got a duty. And I've started understanding and studying the Quran and the Bible and all these books after the age of 40. And I feel it's my duty to do that. These are some of our books. We've published quite a lot of books on science in the Holy Quran. The books which are in front of you are published in the United States. His throne was on water. And I was studying all these ayahs in the Quran with all these scientific meanings. And this one, I chose it to become the title of the book. His throne was on water. And I published the book, and I didn't know what it means. Because there isn't anywhere in the Quran to show that there is water in the universe. And after I published this in the United States, 2-3 years later, we found the space is full in the universe, is full of water vapor. So the explanation of the title of this book and this information came to us now, and we know now that the universe is full of water vapor. And I will explain to you what you mean by full. Because the universe, when we measure it, we don't measure it with kilo or meters, we measure it with light years. The speed of light, 300,000 kilometers per second. So we say that this star is so far away of many years of light, because the space in the universe cannot be measured by meters or kilos. After we've done this, we started looking at the science in the Holy Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't give the Prophet any miracles. We have no stick that can become a snake like Prophet Moses. We can't put his hand in, come out full of light. We haven't got that. So what have we got? We have got science miracles. No sticks or snakes. That's also published in the States. And the best part about it is the miracle of the language of the Quran. My wife, I didn't want her to learn Arabic because she published part of that book and showed that the Arabic is a science miracle. And she doesn't know any Arabic. But I'm not going to waste your time. All this, I've got 80 videos or films in cinemas or whatever, and they are all in the YouTube. So you can sit down and watch this and also invite your children to watch. And these are the attributes of Allah, the beautiful names of Allah. And that's where the name of your organization comes from. And if I want to speak about any one of them, we will need several years to talk about them scientifically. And I will prove that to you. So instead of talking about the eye, the basira, we've sent a Hubble telescope in the universe to look, but has no brain. Not like us, not like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's got the basira and he's got the brain to think about it. And, well, not the brain like ours, but he has got the power to understand what is he looking at. And I'm just giving you an example about the basira. I mean, we sent up a Hubble telescope several years ago. And the Hubble telescope looked and found what? Found galaxies. The galaxy is like the galaxy that contains the Earth, like the Milky Way. And the galaxy is 100,000 million years. And it contains all these suns. Our sun is here somewhere. Sorry.
Yeah, it went.
Yeah. Our sun is here somewhere.
Yeah.
So you imagine that the galaxy is huge. It's got 100,000 million sun. And all this up there. So your name, you have to be proud of El-Basira, that he is the one who can see all this and see all these, all these galaxies. And you know which galaxy is which, and which one has got Earth and which has got suns, and it's horrendous. And he's got that Basira. He can see all this. And not see it alone, no, see it and know what's happening. Is the blood going in? Something happening in my tissues? He knows what's happening. In every cell I have got, he knows everything about it. That's what God is. This is really just an introduction to yourselves about the name of your organization. And I want to discuss the beliefs of you as a group, because the president told me there are Muslims about 50%, but the remaining 50 is all religions. And I have always been invited in churches and different organizations to speak about this connection, the things which are common to all religions. And this lady, Professor Joan Fletcher, she is in York University. And she has made, if you watched BBC Two the last 3 weeks or 4, and she has talked about ancient Egypt for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And she said that the Egyptian civilization goes back 20,000 years. I used to think that they are about 7. But she said there is 20 years of civilization. The question is, regardless, I get born, I get up, I walk in the street, and I look around me. Ah, this thing is a sky. Who made it? The earth. Who made that? What about that mountain? So the human being by nature looks for a creator. And you can see here, all these statues. There was no religion. There was the ancient Egyptian religion. And they make all these huge statues to become gods. Because a human being has to find a god. Because he thinks, who created this? Who did that? And the oldest civilization in the world is Egypt and China. And only last week, the president of Egypt, on the left, was inviting the president of China to celebrate the civilization of the two countries. And China was very famous with the silk. And they called it the Silk Route. They called it the Silk Route. And the Silk Route is in front of you here, organized, so you can see. And they used to come to the area which is now called Suez. And they had the silk, they took it to Europe. And the celebration was in the Luxor Temple in January 2016. And you can see here the statues and all the effort of the human beings. And one of the things that they have produced is this dance. This dance, a Chinese dance. It's lovely.
Under these huge pillars, a stage performance, Thousand Hand Bodhisattva, presented by Chinese artists who were deaf and mute. This will be...
They are deaf mutes. And that's civilization. And I will take you through one verse in the Quran, one fact, one scientific fact in the Quran. I started to learn the science in the holy books. Any Christians here? Lovely. I'll tell you something to look for in the Bible when you go back. The only, well, not the only, one of 2 facts that are found in the Bible, scientific, is 1 day with the Lord, but 1,000 years. This is written in the 2nd letter of Peter. Please put that down and go and see it. And this is the origin of the theory of relativity. 1 day with the Lord, but 1,000 years. You see? Allah, forgive me for saying Allah, Allah is also mentioned in the New Testament. So it's still the name of God in Arabic. So he found all these people going out trying to find the religion. And you can see the civilization go back to the Chinese and the Egyptians 20,000 years. So you have to inform them about themselves and about the creation, about everything. So with every prophet, he used to send something with that prophet, some knowledge, some scientific knowledge. And of course, he used to send miracles, because how do they know that this man is from God? So he got a stick, becomes a snake, snake becomes a stick, and so on. So he created everything from pairs. So what does that mean? When I first read it, what's that mean? When he introduced it in the Quran, he introduced it simply. Male and female, and so on, so people can understand what does he mean by pairs. But eventually he said, there's pairs in everything, and all these pairs, everything, in the plants, in animals, everything is in pairs. And then he put two ayahs in the Quran to say that you will understand what I mean, and some of these ayahs when the time comes. So there's some in the Quran that we don't understand up till now. And we probably will understand it in 500,000 years or whatever, when he wants. So don't be anxious. When you find an ayah that you don't understand, there will be time when this ayah will be explained. And that is, again, one of the things that my wife presents. All human beings, all animals, all plants, all fish in the sea, they all have pairs. And what is the ayah that decides this or talk about this? ومن كل شيء خلقنا زوجين لعلكم تذكرون. We made of everything a double, a pair, so that you would understand. And also that he made life out of water. And you can see pictures here of the DNA. That's the DNA. And that's the DNA. And you can see the DNA here. And this is the ayah that talks about everything created from water. And those are the two guys from Cambridge that explained that our nucleic acid is formed from pairs. So that is the DNA. I'm not going to, you are not chemists, and I don't expect you to be one. But you just have to believe me, because it's in front of you here. It's been proved to the whole world that our body is all made in pairs inside. It's got a DNA, and the DNA is made in pairs. You can see the pairs here, everywhere. And inside most cells is the nucleus that contains a complete set of body blueprints known as the human genome. And the human body has got 75 trillion cells in here. Everybody carrying 50,000 trillion cells. And each cell has got all these pairs inside. This is an example of the DNA again. And that is the RNA. Takes the message from the DNA and passes it to make the proteins. You're all walking with this. I'm not giving any something unusual. All of you like that, including me, of course. And that is one bit of the DNA, and they are made of amino acids. Guanine, cytosine, thymine, adenine, every two together. They variate, and they give characters. And they make the genes. They make me black, white, brown. That's what makes us. And the human genome is estimated to be 3 billion base pairs long and to contain 20 to 25 distinct genes. We all carry all this in the nucleus, in the cell. See the magnificence of the Creator and the magnificence of the Basir. He can see all this inside the cell, and not one, 72 billion or whatever. Creating everything again in pairs. Just human beings and plants? No. The world when you look at the sky, he said it was all smoke in the Quran. Who said so? So where is the smoke? Who can see the smoke? That's the smoke. Hubble telescope photographed the smoke in the universe. So the smoke was there. The end from the creation, from the end of creation. And where did it come from? It came from very little things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called it atoms. Look at it. He has got the stores. He said, I have got the stores of matter. Everything I have got. And I will get out whatever is needed every now and then. And then he told us about this atom. I mean, when I read it, I was amazed. He didn't say atom. No, he said atom weight. And the word atom weight, we knew it only in the 40s. The atomic weight, the word atomic weight, we only knew it in the 40s. This was present 1400 years ago. So he said, I know the atom weight of everything. And not just the atom weight. If there was something smaller than the atom weight, he said, good God, atom weight. We didn't split the atom then. So when we split the atom, we found what Allah meant. And he repeated it in another ayah, so that we don't think it is accidental. No, he means it. The world is full of atoms, and the atoms could be small or big, and he knows the inside of the atom and what is inside it. And that's what's inside it. This guy, or these people, have got the Nobel Prize in physics in 2004, because they found that the inside of the atom, the neutron and the proton, are in pairs. And they gave them colors. Sorry. They gave them colors. Green and anti-green. Blue and anti-blue. These are Nobel Prize work. So that's the pairs. And that's Hubble telescope, which I showed you earlier on, that taught us a lot. And one of the things that he showed us is how the stars is made. The smoke is there, and the material is there, and the stars are made out of this. It comes out of this. That's the galaxies. And that's the star, is born out of this. Here, accumulates in the smoke and come out, become a star. And the star is consumed. And after it's consumed, the light is come, becomes a black hole. That's again the Milky Way. And that's the description of the Milky Way and so on. The planets, and you can see the planet Earth is number 3 here. And all these planets are there. Professor Stephen Hawking, there was a film about him very recently, about this subject. He is the one who said, we thought that the universe is empty. He said, no. The universe is full of particles, but not true particles. It is particles that is only controlled by quantum mechanics, by quantum laws. And he gave examples on this of what happens at the black hole. This is the black hole. When a star dies, it leaves this. And that's where he found the particles. And antiparticles are all together. The two particles are erupted together, come out from nowhere in the universe, with the order of Allah, and they come together, separate, come together, annihilate each other, and disappear. So that's what matter is made of. That's what the universe contains. That's what the story is all about. And Professor Stephen Hawking, Allah took from him everything. He was one of the best professors in Cambridge. And then Allah took from him his movements, his words. He can't talk. He can only see and basir, because he can understand. And also he left him the function of the thumb. So they made him a computer that talks. I'm just showing you the basir and the samia, how human beings, I mean, look at me, I'm standing here, I'm working the computer with a little pen. So he went to give the lecture of the millennium. This is not his voice. This is the computer's voice. And he's explaining the lecture.
As I was getting into bed. My disability makes this rather a slow process, so I had plenty of time. Suddenly, I realized that the area of the event horizon must always increase with time. The increase in the area of the event horizon was very reminiscent of a quantity called entropy, which measures the degree of disorder of a system. It is a matter of common experience that disorder tends to increase with time if things are left to themselves.
One of the most interesting things that I've seen last Sunday, I was sitting down and I was watching the songs of praise, the Christian songs of praise. And it was from one of the ministers, the cathedrals. And they were talking about the Muslims that went and killed 15 British people in Tunisia. Just like that. They're sitting on the beach. That's it. Ta, 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 ta. And I was amazed. I was listening. And this guy called Colin, he came back from England and he went. Where did he go? He went to the mosque. He's Christian. He's a Christian. And I just wanted to know, come on, tell me about Islam. Do they kill each other like this? So, it's amazing. The bodies were here. Can you see the bodies? And that's him. And he was with the Imam. I mean, look at the beauty of human beings and the belief. And they're Christian, coming from his accident with his wife and he's been shot twice. Then you go to the mosque. And I thought, I must show you this.